This video is part 2 of a 3-part series on attention training. This is a particularly useful set of skills if we tend to get caught up in worry or rumination, or stuck in unpleasant emotions. Part 2 introduces mundane task focusing and setting up homework practice. Each of the videos in this series can be watched alone, or ideally, watched together to provide a more comprehensive overview of attention training. This video series can also be watched together with that explaining the vicious cycle of worry and explaining worry postponement videos.
So Amber, I'm curious about what you notice about your attention and where your mind kind of wanders to when you're doing day-to-day tasks, such as, when you're eating or when you're getting to work. What kinds of things do you notice about what your attention does?
Oh, it's gone. It's kind of off anywhere else, really. Sometimes I'll drive to work and then think, how did I get here?
Yeah, that's a super common kind of thing that people experience, that we go on autopilot, because these are things that we're used to doing every day. So our brain kind of checks out and it goes off wandering to different thoughts. And as a result, we might not realize it until later on that, oh, hang on, how did I get to my destination? Yeah. Mundane tasks are perfect opportunities then to be able to practice some attention training. So in the case of mundane task focusing, one of the things that we can train our attention to come back to are the different senses that are involved in doing an activity or a task. So what are some things that you might do on a regular basis?
Dishes, laundry.
Yeah, brilliant. House chores are a great example, right? If we think about something like washing the dishes, what kind of different sensory information might we be able to attend to?
I guess I hear the tap running and I can kind of feel how warm or cold the water is.
Yep, brilliant. Mundane task focusing is about training our brains to catch when it has wandered and then to guide it back to those sensory kind of information. So it could be the sound of the tap water running. You might notice kind of the temperature of the water, as you said, or the feeling of the water. Even the kind of washing liquid that you use, how it smells. So the idea here is not to be completely focused on the task. It's to notice when your mind has wandered, even if it might be a few minutes in, and then to gently guide it back to what you can see, what you can hear, what you can smell, etc.
Yeah, okay.
Have you done anything like that before?
No, nothing like that.
Yeah, okay. Is that something that you'd be interested in trying out over the next week as one of the attention training exercises?
Yeah, I can definitely try. I think it might be a bit tough to really focus on washing the dishes, but I can try to catch myself and keep bringing it back. Yeah.
It definitely is going to kind of start off feeling quite difficult, and you might find that quite a bit of time can pass before you catch yourself. That actually reminds me then that another important aspect of attention training and mundane task focusing is the attitude that we bring. So rather than judging ourselves or criticizing our brains when it's wandered, we really want to start building a non-judgmental, accepting attitude to our thoughts. So that's kind of the idea that our thoughts are going to wander, so we can accept that that will happen, and then without judgment, gently bring it back to the task.
Yeah.
Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. It's kind of like how you said it. I really liked that you said, I can catch myself and then bring myself back to the task. So no judgments there, no, why did I get distracted? Why can't I concentrate? We're really kind of not judging that that's what our minds do.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Well, to kind of set us up then for a bit of practice, I've got a handout here that we can kind of work through in planning what activities you might like to try it on, and then some prompts that you can use when you're doing that exercise. So here's the mundane task attention exercise. You don't have to use it every time. This is really to guide you off with your first or second activity that you practice with. You will see that you can write the task that you've chosen, and then down the page are examples of questions that you can prompt yourself with to guide your attention back. So they include things like, what do you see, what do you hear, what do you smell, taste or touch, maybe even noticing where your thoughts are at the moment, or what emotions or physical sensations you might be experiencing.
Okay.
Questions to kind of guide you into the present moment. Do you have any questions about that so far?
No, I guess that makes sense. So I would kind of write, if I'm doing the dishes, I would write do the dishes and then just kind of have this nearby to look at.
Yeah, absolutely. Because some people kind of find that it can be quite unusual to start off practicing focusing on something that they do regularly. It can feel a little bit awkward to begin with, and so those questions are there to help prompt you if you get stuck.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just wondering about what kinds of activities you think you'd be able to practice on in the coming week.
I guess, yeah, like all the house chores, cleaning. I like to garden and my mind's usually not there when I'm just kind of weeding, so maybe I could do that.
That's a brilliant idea. So we've got the house chores, we've got weeding. Any other things that you might do on a regular basis that can be helpful for mundane task focusing?
I guess driving would be a big one because my mind's never there.
Yep.
Eating, I can do that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I hope you can see then that the examples you've given are things that you already do in your schedule. Yeah. So we're not trying to add more tasks or activities to your day. You're continuing to do the things that you do. We're just kind of changing how you do it. Yeah. And the how being that we're practicing catching where our attention wanders and then bringing it back to the present using our senses.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Is that something that you'd be up for trying one activity per day?
Yeah, I guess because I'm doing them anyway. It's just going to be a really different way of eating and doing the dishes, but yeah, that sounds doable.
That's great. And I'd be really curious to hear what feedback you've got when you come back next session and we can debrief on it.
Okay.
Yeah, great.